A lab at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. 2025. A student sits down at a desk with a keyboard, a blank document, and a mesh cap of sensors pressed against their scalp. 32 little contacts, cold gel under each one, a bundle of wires running off the back of the head like a ponytail made of cables. The room hums. They have exactly 20 minutes to write an essay, and the question is an old SAT prompt, the kind of open-ended thing you'd get on a college entrance exam. 54 people go through that room. They get split into 3 groups. The first group writes with ChatGPT open in a second window. The second group writes with a search engine. No AI allowed. The third group gets nothing. No phone, no browser, no spell check, a blank page and whatever is already in their head. The researchers call them the brain-only group. The ChatGPT group finishes first. Obviously, they finish first and their essays are fine. Clean sentences, no typos, on topic. Later, 2 English teachers read all of the essays without knowing which group wrote what, and they keep circling back to the same word for that stack. Soulless. Not wrong, not badly written, just the same 3 ideas, in the same order, in almost the same phrasing, over and over. Then the researchers ask everyone one question. It isn't a trick. There's no time pressure. It's this. Quote one sentence from the essay you just turned in. And the people who wrote with AI sit there. Not all of them, but enough of them that it became the headline of the whole study. Minutes old. Their name at the top of the page. Words they had read on a screen with their own eyes and approved with their own hand. And they can't get a single line back out. Here's what makes that strange. Nobody was distracted. Nobody was cheating in the sense of not paying attention. They were reading every word, deciding what to keep, deciding what to cut. The work happened. It just didn't stick to anything. So this is not a video about whether AI is making you stupid. It isn't, and anyone who tells you a 20-minute lab task proves that is selling you something. This is a video about a much weirder and more useful thing, the difference between doing work and having work go through you. Because by the end of this, you'll know something specific. The same experiment found an order of operations that leaves your memory almost completely intact and an order that leaves you holding nothing. Same tool, same task, different order. That's the whole ballgame, and most people are doing it backwards right now, today, at their desk. The person who ran that study is a researcher at the MIT Media Lab named Natalia Kozmina. The goal wasn't a scary headline. It was something narrow and physical. Not what people say about using AI, but what their brain does while they use it. That's what the sensor cap is for. It reads the electrical rhythm on the surface of your skull. It can't read thoughts, and anyone who tells you it can is lying. What it can do is show you how much of your brain is talking to the rest of your brain, how far the conversation spreads while you work. And the 3 groups didn't just differ a little. They lined up like a staircase. The brain-only group lit up the widest, front of the head talking to the back, memory regions pulled into the same rhythm as the parts doing the reasoning. The search engine group came in somewhere in the middle, and the ChatGPT group showed the weakest coupling of the 3, the smallest conversation. Now, hold on, because the obvious read of that is the wrong one, and the obvious read is exactly what went viral. The obvious read is less brain activity, therefore worse brain. Therefore, AI is rotting you from the inside. But a quiet brain during a task is not automatically a broken brain. Your brain going quiet is usually your brain being efficient. When you first learned to drive, your whole head was on fire. Now you drive to work and arrive with no memory of the drive. And nobody says driving gave you brain damage. So the low activity isn't the finding. The missing memory is the finding. And to understand why the memory went missing, you have to go back almost 50 years to a much smaller experiment with no scanners at all. 1978, 2 researchers, Norman Slamecka and Peter Graf, run a study that sounds almost too simple to be worth doing. They give people pairs of words. Half the people just read the pairs, rapid, R-A-P-I-D. The other half get the first letter and have to produce the word themselves, rapid, R blank 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 blank. Same words, same time. The only difference is who put the letters there. Then they test everybody's memory. The people who generated the word remembered it better. Not by a hair, reliably across 5 separate experiments. It's now called the generation effect.
and it's one of the sturdiest findings in memory research. The act of pulling something out of your own head is what stamps it in, which means memory doesn't run on exposure. You'd think seeing a word and producing a word would land in roughly the same place, since either way the word crossed your eyes. It doesn't work like that. Your brain files things by the effort it took to make them. Struggle is the filing system. But that's a lab with word pairs. It gets much closer to home in 2011. That year, a researcher named Betsy Sparrow, working with Ginny Liu and Liu Wegner, published a study in Science with a question that felt almost rude at the time. What happens to memory when you know you can always look it up? They had people type trivia statements into a computer. Half were told the file would be saved, half were told it would be erased. Everyone typed the same facts. The people who believed the computer was keeping it remembered the facts worse. And here's the part that should give you chills. They remembered where it was stored better. Which folder? The mind quietly stopped storing the thing and started storing the address of the thing.
Sparrow's team had a name for that arrangement, borrowed from Wegner's older work on couples, transactive memory. You've always done this with people. Somebody in your family remembers birthdays. Somebody in your friend group remembers restaurant names. You don't experience that as forgetting, you experience it as having people. The internet just became the most reliable partner you've ever had. But being a good partner has a price, and the price showed up in 2015. Matthew Fisher, Marielle Goddu, and Goddu Keil ran experiments where people looked things up online and then rated how well they understood topics the search never touched. Their confidence went up anyway. Searching made them feel like the knowledge was theirs. The line between what's in your head and what's one tab away gets blurry, and it gets blurry in one direction only. You always feel like you know more. So put those three together, because this is the mechanism that explains the room in Cambridge. Effort is what writes memory. Access kills effort, and confidence doesn't track any of it. Researchers Evan Risco and Sam Gilbert have a clean name for the behavior underneath: cognitive offloading. Your brain is constantly running a cost calculation. Is it cheaper to hold this in your own head or to put it out in the world and pick it up later? Writing it down, taking a photo, setting an alarm, asking a friend, opening a chat window. Every one of those is the same move. And here's the thing you need to actually take from this. Offloading is not a flaw. It's the reason you're not memorizing phone numbers in 2026 like a person in 1987. It's a feature. Your brain is supposed to do it. The problem is that offloading was built for facts. Phone numbers, directions, appointment times, stuff where having the address really is as good as having the thing. Writing isn't a fact. Writing is the process of finding out what you think. That's what makes it different from every other thing you've ever handed to a machine. When you offload a phone number, you lose a number. When you offload the writing, you lose the thinking that would have happened inside it. And you can't tell because the essay is sitting right there, finished, with your name on it. The receipt looks identical either way, which brings you back to that lab, because Kuzmina's team did one more thing. And this is the part almost nobody talks about. They ran a fourth session, and they swapped the groups. 18 people came back. The ones who had spent 3 sessions writing with ChatGPT were told, this time nothing, no AI. Just you. And the ones who've been writing with nothing for 3 sessions were handed ChatGPT for the first time. If the simple story were true, AI weak, no AI strong, you'd expect the AI group, freed from the tool, to bounce right back. That's not what happened. The people coming off AI stayed low. Reduced connectivity, the pattern the researchers described as under-engagement. Take the tool away and the engagement didn't come back with it, at least not that day. They had gotten used to a task that didn't ask anything of them. But the other direction is the finding that should change how you work tomorrow. The people who had been writing from their own head, when they finally got AI, they didn't go quiet. Their memory recall went up. Their brains showed more activation, not less, across the regions that handle vision and attention and reasoning. They used the exact same tool as the first group and got the opposite result. Same software, opposite outcome. The only variable left is order. Think about what's actually different in those two heads. When AI writes first, you're an editor. Editing feels like work. You're reading, judging, approving, but you never generated anything. And generation is the thing that stamps memory in. You are Slamecka's read group, and you feel like the generate group. That's the trap, and it's a good trap because it's comfortable and it produces a finished document.
When you write first, even badly, even 3 lousy sentences, you've already forced the retrieval. You've already found out what you think, which is uncomfortable, which is the point. And now when the AI hands you a better version, you're not receiving a stranger's idea, you're comparing it to one you built. There's something in your head for it to attach to. The order is everything. Now, be honest about what this study is and isn't, because the researchers were. It's a preprint. It hadn't been through peer review when it came out. 54 people, 18 in the swap, 1 task, essay writing, in 1 lab over 4 months. It does not prove long-term damage to anybody, and the authors specifically asked people to stop saying that it does. What it shows is narrow and real. During the task, engagement dropped, and memory for the work dropped with it. But you don't need the scary version. The narrow version is already enough to change your afternoon. So here's what to do with it. Write the ugly version first. Not an outline, sentences. 2 minutes, badly, in your own words, before any tool is open. That's the retrieval, and it's the only irreplaceable step in this whole process. Then bring in the AI and use it on something that already exists. Sharpen this. Argue against this. Find what's missing from this. The tool is enormously good at that, and it costs you nothing because the thinking already happened. And after it hands something back, close the window and say the idea out loud in your own words without reading. If you can't, you didn't learn it, you approved it. That 10-second check is the whole difference between the two groups, and it's free. One last thing to sit with. The students in that room weren't lazy. They read every line. They chose every paragraph. They worked. Their essays were fine. They just couldn't quote themselves 5 minutes later. And until somebody asked, not one of them knew anything was missing. That's the real cost. Not that the machine thinks for you, that it feels exactly the same when it does.